Classes in sesh. We doing this dish. We doing this fine. Doing this nice and dandy. Bringing in another edition of where we talk a little bit about things that maybe we don't think about too much. We watch sports game. It comes, it goes. We don't look at the real life application. We don't think about some of the things that are happening that maybe we should take a closer look at. Not investigate, but remember and cherish. Part of cherishing things is sometimes it can result in you thinking about it, and then the more you think about it, it doesn't exactly turn out to be how you remembered it to be. Now, we're doing a similar case study. This time we're looking at the life of James Edward Harden Jr., the beard, Jimbo Slice, El Chapo, Honey Bunny, the man, the myth, the legend. Oh boy. This is one that I've kind of been thinking about for a while now. I started paying attention to this formulation of the beard and basically my perception of him. It's been growing and cultivating for the last few years now, ever since the year that he won runner-up to Giannis in 2018-2019. And I always thought that it started in 2019 in January. There were a lot of games where I was just scratching my head at this guy. And I was just like, dude, what are you doing? What's going on here? You could almost say it started, and I would probably say that it did start before he even won MVP. It started in the playoffs. But it's a paradox, you see, because it was quite something to behold. A team like the 2018 Houston Rockets, if you remember that series against the Warriors, where they missed 27 threes, Chris Paul goes down with a hamstring, basically spoon-feeding the infants that were the Golden State Warriors. We look back and we think about how amazing the 2018 Golden State Warriors were, the back-to-back championships with Kevin Durant, but we gloss over the greatness of the 2018 Houston Rockets, and I think that they were better. And I just don't have any reason to think otherwise. They were the better team in the regular season. They were the better team. They had them beat. They needed all these terrible things to happen for them, for the Warriors to beat them in 7. A stacked Warriors team that you think would have been able to wipe them off the moment that Chris Paul went down. Granted, it took them to 7 games. But they got by. The Warriors got by with a lot of help by the Rockets. All right? You cannot deny Chris Paul's influence in the twilight of his career, the chemistry between Harden and Capella, Gerald Green, PJ Tucker, Trevor Ariza. But alas, we're not here to talk about 2018 Houston Rockets. I just mentioned that because I think that this is kind of the fall. I'm not starting at the beginning, okay? We're not taking a big trip down memory lane here, and I'm not going to be talking about Arizona State's most infamous chin-insecure player that they ever had. We're going straight to the beard and the rise and the fall, well, basically where he is right now. It's like he went to the top, almost the top of the mountain. If he won the championship in 2018, that would have been the top of the mountain, because they probably would have swept the Cavs too. Let's be honest here. Let's be real. It wasn't even a competition in 2018 when Harden won the MVP. We're going to be talking about that. And the huge descend, it was like that was basically it. That was the precipice. That was as far as we got here. Rockets, nothing ended up happening. Nothing got good. Bubble, goodbye. Brooklyn Nets 2021. I'm going to play a little bit, but I'm not going to play all of it, okay? Hopefully, I can help as much as I can, but I'm just, Nets have all kinds of problems on their own already without me. Goes to the Sixers. Back-to-back semifinals. Bye-byes. And here we are today. Oh, it's like it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. So basically, my man, 2017, he's making $40 million a year. My dad identifies players, how important they are based off of how much money they're getting paid to simply play whatever sport it is. So Harden, the guy that's making the most money in basketball, $40 million a season. I believe his contract extended for 2 more years after that, so it was a 6-year deal, but he was guaranteed $160 million for the first 4. That we can easily conjecture and be like, bravo, guys getting paid, 2018 MVP. Signed that back in 2017, but that was in the offseason Moreover, wins MVP, pretty much undisputed. LeBron and AD, valiant efforts. You guys can split the silver. Whatever have ya. Man, though, crazy, bro. The dude is making $40 a year, okay? Now, you may think when he went to Brooklyn, things were bad. Things were bad in Houston, okay? We don't really need to remember, well, it's hard to remember what did the Rockets even do? Like, I'm trying to remember between 2018 and 2021 when he leaves. The Rockets were such a weird team. They should have held on to Capella. That guy is extremely underrated. Love me some Clint Capella. So yeah, 2017, he's making all the money. Everybody thought he was going to win MVP. He did. Everything you could almost say about Harden was a byproduct of him winning the MVP. Like, it all just kind of, I don't know if it went to his head. He was 28 years old. He had been in the league for a while. Led the league in scoring 3 years in a row. It's crazy that he averaged 36 points a game and he didn't win MVP in 2019, although I was pretty sure he wasn't going to win. But we can jump ahead now. It's 2019 season, January 3rd. A lot of you probably remember this game. So Harden puts up 44 points in a 135 to 134 overtime win in Golden State. A pretty awesome deep three ball. So Harden wins that game. And you may remember that shot, but you probably also might remember what he did after he made that shot. He looks at his teammates who are crowding him. Maybe there's 0.1 seconds left. And he goes, this. We can't hear what he says. You can see it put up the 2. And it was probably Reggie Miller. Two-time. Man. I mean, that just, to me, back then, nothing had really happened. But I look at that, and that just solidifies what's going on. This guy is so high up on himself. The level of hedonism has blown through the roof of Oracle Arena, and the guy is already calling himself a 2-time NBA MVP. That's exactly what happened there. And Reggie Miller, he's probably said that, and he's 100% right. Of course, that's what Harden was saying. And nobody knew it was going downhill as fast as it was. You're calling yourself the MVP, 2-time MVP. In January, bro. You got February, you got March, you got April. You got plenty of time to go. Meanwhile, the Bucks are number 1 seed in the East. And yeah, so he didn't win MVP. He did not. Giannis won. I saw that a mile away. I think a blind fish could have seen that coming. But a lot of people were riding on Harden to win it. But it's just, I mean, the Rockets, like I was saying, I don't remember any success. I don't remember anything that the Rockets achieved from 2018 to 2021 when he eventually left. They lost that year, you know. Well, they lost every year because they didn't win a championship with the Harden in the Harden era. So just after that, that was a January 3rd game, that Warriors game. We move along. We go to we got some later games going on. You know, they lose at home to the Suns, the Nets, and Pelicans. This is some bad home games. Really confusing. But man, 2019 playoffs. They draw the equally as unpalatable Utah Jazz, and they beat them in 5 games. And then Kevin Durant goes down. They draw the Warriors. Nice little rematch, right? You think that's going to be a good series? Well, you're wrong, because Durant gets injured. I believe he gets injured, misses the last 2 games. He might have missed more than that. But the point is, the Rockets just couldn't put them down, close the door. That amazing game with Curry when he had 33 in the second half in Game 6. Clay led the way basically for them up until that point. But that was it, you know? They disappeared. Westbrook comes over, and they lose to the Lakers in the first round. Now we're into 2020. They lose in the first round of the bubble to the Lakers, who ended up winning. No more MVP discussions for Harden. That's where we're at. It is now the Giannis, Curry, and Jokic era. That's the one we're living in. Harden has turned from an MVP to a runner-up, not in the conversation, all-star starter, all-star reserve, and now this year in 2023, he doesn't even make the team, doesn't even get a reserve spot. And I believe that there were 3 openings because some players got injured and Harden didn't even get invited to the show. So that is clear enough for you as a dissension from being the MVP to basically not even being an all-star backup reserve. Like there's the starters, there's the reserves, and then there's the backup reserves. Whew! That's rough. So Brooklyn happens. January 13th, 2021. Here we are. So much potential. We all know the ISO gang, Kyrie Irving, James Harden, Kevin Durant. Oh yeah, that was pretty rough. Hammy injury keeps him out from April 7th to May 11th. And then he comes back in the playoffs for games 2, 3, and 4. 2, 3, and 4. And then Kyrie Irving goes down for games 5, 6, and 7. What is this sport? What are we watching here? Durant, man, doing everything. Harden could have just ran it back. The Nets could have just decided that they wanted to play basketball and run it back. Now it's 2022. Philly. All right, Harden wants out of Brooklyn. He was the last one there and the first one out. So, joins in Beetlejuice. Second round exit versus Miami in 6. Scores 11 points. 9 shots, 11 points, 9 assists, 4 turnovers in 43 minutes, this guy, okay? And then the post-game press conference after that, I just lost my mind. The guy says, looking forward to next season, we're going to work hard and we're going to get better. All right, let's just jump into a time machine. 2023, boom, here we are, second round exit, Game 7 versus Boston, 9 points. Everybody has got to be tired of this crap by now, right? He's not putting the shovel down. He's just digging it more deep for himself. And here we are. He's 34 years old. If this is happening again and he stays with Philly, here we go. Now we're going to get to the point how I feel about Harden. Now it's just grown and metamorphosized so much so that I don't feel disappointed anymore. If this happens and he stays with the Phillies and they lose in the second round again, it's not disappointing to me. It's more pity because this is just sad. What's happened to James Harden? I look at this and I'm just like, wow, this is just so unbelievably rise and fall before our very eyes. A kingdom shattered, collapsing, and just disappearing essentially. And that's what Harden's turning into, That's why it's like when you're disappointed and you think that this guy's amazing, calling himself a 2-time MVP. But that's what this is about. He is the most infuriating player in the NBA. Nothing grinds my gears more than this man. And that is where he is right now. And people are probably not even talking about him because he's not even relevant because he's just so unbelievably unsuccessful and just terrible, and nothing that he says makes any sense or can connect whatsoever. Hard to know if he really likes to play basketball. I mean, just scoring 9 points in Game 7 this year in a must-win game and 11 points in the game, a must-win game the year before that. A guy who led the league in scoring, averaging 36 points a game one season. Yeah. Unbelievably how you can rise and fall, but it's possible. And that's just the game of basketball. That's where we are.